Hi friends, David here from Learn Stage Lighting, and in this video we're going to take a look at the LaserCube, what we got right here, what we got right there, talk about if it's a good laser for you, if it's a good option when you have a good setup of lighting and you're looking for that next punch. Let's dive in. So lasers can be a really great way to add to your lighting, and like I always say, it's especially beneficial when you already have a good set of lighting and you're like, ooh, I want to add something else. Lasers can also honestly be, something in place of lighting that's an effect in the air, or in the case of what we're doing right now, it's projecting on a surface. And I believe somewhere in here I've got the audio on, and so it's totally working off my voice here. Let's just go turn that off super quick. Whoop. Yep, there it is. So we're just gonna cut that off so it stops flickering. Yeah, much better. Okay, so the LaserCube is a really cool device. The basic gist of it is they have two options. Here in the US, the most popular option by far is this one. This is the Wi-Fi 2.5 watt. Why? Because it's not that much more expensive than the 1.2 watt, but it's twice the brightness, and it's just a really great fit. But who's it a really great fit for? So the LaserCube, just to give you a brief overview, is a professional style laser. It's a 2.5 watt laser, which in lasers is a reasonable, good kind of amount of power for, we like to say, venues up to about 500 people. Okay, that's just kind of a rough guesstimation, but it gives you an idea. And the LaserCubes in particular are really good because A, they're small, they're battery powered, they're fairly quiet. I've got one just right there running, obviously, just a couple feet from my head, and it's really not very loud at all. It sounds like a laptop maybe that's put its high fans on. And the biggest part is they're really easy to use. The fact that I can literally deploy this, like right now, you can run them off Wi-Fi. Right now, I've got this one just sitting here, wired network to my network here in this room, and that's it. No power hooked up because it's got a battery. It can run for 3 or 4 hours. Just the safety switch plugged in, the network cable, done. Okay, so that's what's so cool about these things is they're so quick to deploy and they're so easy to use, and they can do a lot of interesting things. Okay, so there's really two ways that you can use a LaserCube. The first, if we dive into the software a little bit, is to do visuals on a surface like we've got going here, right? You see it's fairly dark in here. I've got, you see the brightness because that right there is a Volux Spectra 300, 300 watt moving head, and then that guy is a Volux Sysma Z4 wash fixture, zoomed in pretty tight. Okay, both of those are on. This laser is outshooting them in terms of projection, in terms of overall brightness, and so as a projection laser, typically in lighting, that's kind of the lesser use. There's so many built-in patterns to Laser OS, which comes free with the laser, right? You can do like dancers, but there's also all these different animations here of all sorts of different things. So you can, go here to music, play all sorts of different musical instruments. And so this is a cool media type effect that you can just really easily launch and throw into a show very quickly. You can also save keyboard presets or MIDI presets to be able to control Laser OS with a MIDI controller. More on that in a minute, right? Then there are, things like images and all sorts of, like the X-Laser is all the X-Laser gobos, which can look really great and are just very simple, but make great beam effects. You can build your own playlist, which is great, etc. It can even get, like, here's the current price of Bitcoin, so it can get live things from the internet. So there's a lot you can do. In particular, I really like the beam effect type stuff. So while the abstracts are cool, the visualizers are great, and if you're playing music, these automatically work with the sound input on the device you're using. So like if you're a DJ, you've got a DJ set, you want to put this on a wall behind you, it's a no-brainer. You want to put this on the ceiling, it's a no-brainer. It looks great, and as long as you follow the regulations that it's at least 10 feet above anywhere that an audience member can stand on, you're good to go. Okay, so that's really cool, and there's so much stuff you can do. All these, again, react to audio. If we, like, for example, let's just turn that back on. Hey, you see that there? So as I talk, it reacts to my voice, and that's automatic with those visualizers. But let's take a quick second and look at how the LaserCube looks when you've got some haze in the air like we've got here, and you're shooting it through the air. So what I'm going to do quick is I'm going to go to these X laser ones, go to this circles or squares. Oh, we'll do these squares. And I'm going to move my LaserCube over. So what I'm going to do, you'll see this quick, is basically go ahead, E-stop it. Okay, we E-stopped it. Cool, I got it the first time, I just didn't realize it. Then I'm going to physically cover up my aperture, move it, turn it back on, and we'll be ready to control it more. Again, just moving it across the room. Could do this on Wi-Fi. I'm doing it wired just because it's a little bit more stable in this space. But overall, just so easy to move to a different position. Let's do it. So what you can see is when we put it behind us as a beam effect, and my camera shutter is just interacting a little bit with the laser. In person, it looks like solid beams of light. It's now behind us through the air, and you see if I work with and adjust the zoom, you can see very clearly. Wow, compared to this Volux Sysma 300, which is a great fixture, 300 watt LED based moving head, especially in deep colors, this thing really beats out that fixture, and it's smaller and it's easier to set up. And so I hope you can kind of see how that makes lasers work. Now let's talk about some of my favorite parts of this. The abstract section is cool for making stuff in the air, making beam shows. The beam shows are a bunch of pre-built stuff that just looks awesome through the air. Okay. And then I really also like the beam creator for setting things up. So basically you can go really easily and build yourself horizontal lines or vertical lines or beams or simple shapes. And so like if I just do this and I add one in, I then get some really great beams through the air. Can add more of them, etc. Then I could go and add, I didn't mean to do that. Let's get rid of that second one. I could add like a little bit of movement through a sine wave. I could also move these around. And the cool thing about this is it could infinitely go side to side like that. But let me just add in a sine wave then, which I am going to color. So now you see how the two really work together. And we're able to move it then. And so now, as you can see, like a laser type fixture, a laser projector, as opposed to a moving light in a live show, can really give you the ability to like have things like gobos, but morph them around. And bringing them out, moving them back in can be as simple as one is I can take this and I can adjust it, on the fly. I can set up a MIDI controller like this, little Korg Nano control, just a bunch of faders on it, or like an APC40 to recall lots of different presets and also adjust my power levels of all my different lasers. So I can actually have multiple laser cubes. They can't do different animations if they're being controlled by one laser OS, but you can adjust the intensities separately. So that's really great, as well as all the zoom and all that stuff. And so, as you can see, it's really incredible what you can create. Now, let's get down to brass tacks. Okay, when it comes down to it, right? Like, who does this end up being good for, and what type of shows could this fit in. I would argue that band, church, DJ, even live events can really make use of lasers, and sometimes it's a better buy, more worth your money than going out and getting, 2 more moving heads, right, or 1 more moving head. As you can see, compared to this Volix Spectra, it's very bright, and it's not much more expensive than one of those Volix Spectras, right? And so that's a really great way to go, hey, if I'm playing rooms of 500 people, and I want to be able to run some different animations, maybe move it, sometimes use it as a projector, use it as a clock on the wall. If you shine it at a wall or a building, you can see it even when there's light in the room. Really, anything like dusk light or lower. So any interior lighting, this will outshine it. The biggest things you need to know, and we cover this in some of our other videos, like how to begin with lasers, is you need a laser variance. That's included with the purchase of the LaserCube. You need to control it. So that's simple because LaserOS is free and it is part of it. The LaserCubes can also use ArtNet, though it's not as robust. But I would say basically, LaserOS can work and can be really great anytime that you have an operator running your lasers, or you have some sort of program that can send a MIDI signal over. Now, I showed a way to do MIDI to DMX in order to get that with your LaserCube a number of years ago, actually, and it's still out there. You can totally check that out. But if whatever show control you're using has MIDI, that's going to be your best option. Lasers can be great mounted behind a band, behind a stage. They can also be great shooting onto surfaces, which makes them versatile and able to do a lot of different things. And of course, as we've mentioned, they're really, really small. So if you're transporting things, just in a pickup truck or an SUV or a small trailer, and you want to add some more impact to your show, but you don't have a lot of space, instead of buying 3 or 4 moving heads, you could buy LaserCubes that fit inside. They come with a plastic case or a roto-molded whatever case. It's an EVA case, that's what they're called. That is semi-hard, and it's about this big, right? It's not very big at all. You can put 4 of these in a very small case in a very small space and be ready to go. So I hope this opens to your eyes to the kind of things that are available. The LaserCubes, though, I would say, if you want to always be controlling them from a DMX console and you don't want to run an external piece of software, then you probably want to look at a more traditional style laser. And we really like the X-Laser Mercury lasers, the Skyriders, because the Mercury system basically it performs like a light and you don't need any external software. More on that later. So if you guys enjoyed this, if you're interested in lasers, check out our other videos on lasers, both here on the Gear channel, on the main channel, and of course, check out the LaserCubes. We've got them over at Learn Stage Lighting Gear. We've got them in stock, and we would love to help you get the laser of your dreams, be able to really help you add a new dimension to your show, and get something that maybe can help you do some really great stuff without breaking the bank. So if that sounds good, head over. We'll help you guys out. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks.